to Happily Adventures After. I am London. I think you just heard everything shake. All right, that was on my desk. Don't know how that happened. Hope you didn't hear it. But as I said, I'm London, and I'm thrilled to have you back for this week's edition of Hey Disney, Give Me a Review. So, what is Hey Disney, Give Me a Review? Well, it's kind of like that virtual concierge that's in your room at Walt Disney World resorts using that Amazon Alexa overlay. But we're sprinkling in just a little bit of Disney magic into your planning by giving you a review, something that Hey Disney, that feature in the Amazon Alexa in Walt Disney World resorts, can do. Whether you're gearing up for your trip to Walt Disney World or you're just looking to uncover some of the best experiences, dining, hotels, etc., we've got you covered with real and honest reviews and insider tips. Today, we are excited because we are diving into our experience so far using lightning lanes at Walt Disney World, which is a very popular skip the line system that has basically become an essential tool for many park goers. From saving precious time to ensuring you get to experience the attraction you want to do the most, lightning lanes can make or break your Disney day. We're eager to see how well the system worked for us over the last couple tries, and we're excited to share tips and tricks on maximizing its benefits. Now, before we begin, it is really worth a note that lightning lanes have sparked plenty of conversations among Disney fans. While some miss the days of free FastPass or FastPass Plus planning, others appreciate the added flexibility of the system that it was since Genie Plus. That was a whole other mess. Honestly, I didn't like Genie Plus. This post and podcast will offer a service to you as a guide for anyone planning their trip. Whether you're new to lightning lanes or just looking for some insights on how to use them the best, most effective way, we've got you covered. So let's dive in. I want to note, before we do anything, lightning lanes are actually also available in Disneyland. This will solely focus on Walt Disney World because that is where we here at Happily Adventures After have used them. We have not used them in Disneyland and they are a little different, so I do want to make that clear before we get started. So what is lightning lane at Walt Disney World exactly? Well, lightning lanes are a paid service that allow guests to bypass regular standby lines at select Walt Disney World attractions. It provides quicker access to rides, helping maximize your effectiveness when it comes to wait times and minimizing your overall wait time in said attraction to enhance your overall experience. There are actually 3 types of lightning lanes that are offered to guests, 2 of which are for all guests, 1 of which is for resort guests only. All right, so that probably just got really confusing, but all guests, anybody visiting Walt Disney World parks, are allowed to purchase both Lightning Lane Single Pass and Lightning Lane Multi Pass, and those have its own features and pricing structures that we will get into. Lightning Lane Premier Pass is only offered to resort guests of Walt Disney World, right? So it's 3 of them, 2 of them can be anybody, 1 of them is resort guests only. Okay, got that clear? Let's get into it. So Lightning Lane Single Pass is a service that allows you to pay for one single attraction, basically the most popular attraction in each park, at a time per person, granting you access to a shorter lightning lane for a specific ride time that you choose once. You can choose the attraction you want to go to and experience based on its availability and timing that day. Now, you are able to hold 2 single pass purchases per day, and that goes if you have Park Hopper. So if I wanted to purchase both Flight of Passage and Animal Kingdom, which is a single pass, and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which is a single pass, I can do that. But I can't purchase it for those 2 if I am not able to have a Park Hopper ticket. So I'd have to, if I was staying in Magic Kingdom, I'd have to only purchase either 1 or the 2 single passes, which is Tron and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I hope that was okay to explain. So each single pass is priced per person per ride, and you only get to use single pass once at the allotted time and date of when you purchase it. So it generally will range in price from, I want to say 10 is being like optimistic. I've purchased something for $10. That was way back when. But I'd say about $12 plus tax USD to about $29 USD plus tax per person per attraction. So it can get up there. Again, it caters to very popular rides such as Avatar Flight of Passage within Disney's Animal Kingdom, as well as Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. and that's in Hollywood Studios. And Rise of the Resistance usually has the highest price. I'm just noting that now. It's usually like $30 a person to ride. It's nuts. And that's due to popularity and high demand. Okay? So I hope you understood Single Pass. Lightning Lane Multi-Pass is basically what was Fast Pass Plus and Genie Plus. It provides access to a wide selection of attractions across all 4 theme parks for a single price. This pass allows you to experience expedited entry into multiple attractions within one park, and then if you have park hopper options, also park hopping per day, but only you can use it once per attraction per day. With Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, you can select your next attraction once you've used one of your Lightning Lane, and you can hold 3 at a time for whatever ride. So usually you know how you hit the little touch points on your Magic Band or card or Magic Mobile. So once you've used both of those touch points, or one, if they only have one, you can make your next and can only hold 3 at a time. And if you have Park Hopper, once you use your first one, it opens up not only the park hopping option, but it also opens up their tiered. I'm not going to get into all of the tiering of attractions, but basically the top tier attractions in each park, I suggest you look them up. If you are going to book, you can only book one from tier 1 and the rest are tier 2 attractions. So for instance, Slinky Dog Dash, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, etc. are tier 1. You can only initially book one tier 1 attraction in Hollywood Studios and then 2 others, which could be, for instance, I think Tower of Terror is a tier 2, as well as Alien Swirling Saucers. So if I booked all of those, or I booked all of Toy Story Land, for instance, as my tier 1 and tier 2, the minute I use up Slinky Dog Dash, it frees me up to book another tier 1 attraction in any park, if you have Park Hopper, or within Hollywood Studios, in that example, if you're staying in Hollywood Studios. Again, I hope that made sense. Please check out the different tiered attractions in each park so you do not get disappointed in trying to book a Lightning Lane, for instance, in Magic Kingdom, for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, for Space Mountain, etc., all at the same time. You can't hold those all at the same time in your initial kind of purchase picks. Those will come after. Again, I hope that made sense. Multi-Pass Lightning Lane usually runs from about $20 to about $39 USD per person plus tax. $20 is being usually moderate, and sometimes I've seen it lower for Disney's Animal Kingdom, but that's just giving you an average, for instance, and it fluctuates based on demand, season, and per park. Lastly, this one got introduced, I think it was October 30th. I was there, didn't use it because I wasn't a resort guest, but this got introduced in October 30th, 2024, and this is Lightning Lane Premier Pass. Apparently this is a test, so we're in beta testing option right now. But it is a Walt Disney World Premier Line skipping service that provides a one-time access to every Lightning Lane attraction within a single park. You cannot park hop for this, as a note, per day. It includes rides that are available on both individual Lightning Lanes, so single pass, as well as multi-pass. Currently, it's in that beta test pilot phase, and this Premier Pass is exclusive to anyone at Walt Disney World resorts. You have to be a resort guest. It originally started out as deluxe guests only, then it moved to all of Walt Disney World resorts, I'd say about 3 weeks ago, from when I'm filming this, or recording this, sorry. So you can purchase this, much like any other Lightning Lane Pass, 7 days before your trip, and this one varies from park, date, and demand. The prices range from $129 per person plus tax to $449 per person plus tax, depending on the park and date selected. The Premier Pass guarantees access without needing to book a specific time. And there are no refunds, though. If you want to go and you've chosen Magic Kingdom, you switch your day to go to Animal Kingdom. So for instance, Magic Kingdom would be that higher tier, $450 roughly per person plus tax. Animal Kingdom would be that lower, $129 plus per person plus tax. So if you switch your day and what you want to do, and your plan switch, you can switch it, but you're not getting a refund for that difference in fare, basically. You also cannot park hop at this current time. I am filming mid-December. You cannot park hop using this. It is specific to one park. The benefit of it is it has ultimate flexibility because you don't have to book a time. You're not on your phone. It's very convenient. It's very similar to Universal Express, where you just walk up, scan your ticket, and go. However, it's expensive as ever. Just going to point that out. And I don't understand the price range on that at that time. However, that's on you. If you want to do it, go for it. So the key differences here is Single Pass is a pay per attraction. They're higher cost rides. They're more demand rides, more popular rides, and you get to ride it once for one singular purchase. Multi-Pass gets you to a daily pass access to whatever park, allows you to park hop if you have that option on your ticket. You book 3 initially, and we'll get into this, at a time. Then you can book 1 at a time once you've used that first attraction up, and it opens up in different ways, which is awesome. And you can do 1 ride at a time. Again, you only get to ride something once, but it is a higher cost usually, and you get to ride everything in that park should you choose and optimize yourself that way. Premier Pass is a one-time fee per person per park. Only one park, cannot park hop, cannot get a refund if you choose to go to a different park. And you basically can ride any Lightning Lane eligible attraction or show within that park once without a designated wait time. Again, it is closer to Universal Orlando's Express Pass, if that gives you an idea. So I hope that background on it kind of gave you a little bit more insight to what Lightning Lanes are. You may be asking yourself, with all of that information, how and when do I need to purchase Lightning Lanes for Walt Disney World? Well, here we go. So, for Walt Disney World resort guests, so anybody staying on Walt Disney World property at a Walt Disney World hotel, resort guests can purchase Lightning Lane either Single Pass, Multi-Pass, or Premier Pass at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 days before their check-in at their resort. One more time, if you want to book Lightning Lane and you are physically checking into Walt Disney World hotels, 7 a.m. before your check-in day, 7 days, right there. You get to book all of your Lightning Lanes for the entirety of your stay. As I said, with Multi-Pass, you will get to select 3 different attractions, 1 from Tier 1 and the rest from Tier 2, other than Animal Kingdom, because Animal Kingdom does not have tiers at this time. At that time, when you go to book all of these, you will see every available attraction on the map, basically. Once you go to book them, you will get the choice. If you like what you see, then you can confirm and purchase. You do not have to purchase the service should you see availability that is not of what you like. I highly recommend you purchase it, I'm not gonna lie, because availability can change. Just my 2 cents. And you do this through My Disney Experience, the app. It's never on a computer. Okay, I hope that explained it. Now for off-property guests, you get the luxury of purchasing Lightning Lane Multi-Pass and Single Pass 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 days before your park visit. So if I was booking on a Tuesday, my park day would be 3 days out from that. I cannot book for the entirety of my time. It is 1 day basically at a time. So if I had 3 consecutive park days, I would have to wake up at 7 a.m. each day, 3 days ahead of when I was going to go to the parks, 1 day at a time. Again, you're doing it through the My Disney Experience app. You will book your Lightning Lane Multi-Pass and Single Pass ahead of time. You can confirm the time slots and the attractions in either, if you're doing Multi-Pass, the tiered system, so 1 from Tier 1, 2 from Tier 2 to start off. You can also book your Single Pass at that same time. It loads it in for you, gets a bing, bang, boom, all good, and away you go. For all of these, I really do highly recommend that you purchase early, as the attractions can sell out, quote unquote, for certain ride times during peak hours. And do not be alarmed if you're not a resort guest. Disney's going to replenish them for you. You can think, oh no, all of the resort guests are going to get the good attractions. I'm not a resort guest quite frequently, and I've gotten really good attractions. They seem to replenish them 7 a.m. that morning, basically, and they hold back a group and then say, okay, these are for non-resort guests. So do not worry about that. Again, everything has to be done through the My Disney Experience between the planning and the purchasing, and it's all, your credit card goes in there, you book it there, so on and so forth. I have to say, Lightning Lane is a game changer for anybody visiting Walt Disney World Resort because it'll offer you that line bypass. If you're trying to fit as many rides as you can in, and that's what you want in order to skip the long wait time and make the most of your day, it is a really great tool to be effective and enjoy your visit. When used wisely, Lightning Lane allows you to avoid those lengthy queues for top-tier attractions. If you want to get on Space Mountain, you grab that multi-pass for the entire day, which I think is a better bang for your buck, to then get on a variety of them. If you just wanted Space Mountain, you get to unlock every other attraction in Magic Kingdom and or Park Hop. Now, if you want Seven Dwarfs Mine Train or Avatar Flight of Passage, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, anything like that, you're looking at a one-time fee and one-time use. However, these do have really long wait times. And if you're not a single rider, if you're not looking to stand in a 90 to 2-hour line, 90 minutes, sorry, to 2-hour line, Lightning Lanes are a great way to maximize that. They offer a much faster way to get on the attraction and enjoy the rest of your day at Walt Disney World than what it has to offer. So again, I do recommend Lightning Lanes. However, it may not be for everyone because the cost does add up. Because I'm a bit of a theming nerd, I want to get into the backstory of Lightning Lanes just because it's fun. I bored you with costs. I bored you with how to book. I want to get into the backstory. So the journey to Lightning Lanes has been a bit of a tumultuous one at Walt Disney World because it is ever evolving, and guests who experience it sometimes don't like the new changes, and I understand. Disney is on the pursuit of effectiveness and making the most of the entire time you are there, but at the same time, they're now charging for a free service, so I understand it. But seeing as Disney World has ever-growing theme park crowds, it is very valuable. So way back when, let's take it back to 1999. And much like Prince, we're going to party like it's 1999 with the introduction of FastPass, a revolutionary system that offered guests to reserve a return window at a popular attraction to bypass the long standby line. It was a free service, so it was included in the price of your ticket, and it quickly became a staple at Disney parks, giving that experience an opportunity to grow into what we know it is today. And a lot of other theme park standards have this. Now, I don't know about you, but I remember going to the attraction I wanted to go to, inserting my ticket and getting a paper fast pass with return time that I would then have to give to the attraction's cast member when I returned. There was nothing like a mad dash on earth to go get one of these at the best attractions. You basically had to be there at Park Open to get a good attraction. The same thing, you could only have one at a time, so once you used it, the system recognized the barcode on your ticket and then would issue you a new one. I remember it. I actually still have a couple paper fast passes, and I remember doing a mad dash with two of my friends and their family for Toy Story Midway Mania, because at the time we went, that was the attraction to get on. And it was just really fun. And so having those memories and trading your tickets, and at that time we had to figure out if all of us were going to get the exact same time, because they had their family there. I was just happened to be down there. We weirdly were on the same flight kind of thing. We knew that, like, going down. We didn't plan our trip together, but it was fun. So we had to insert our tickets. They inserted theirs. It was like, are we going to get the same time? If they're 10 minutes different, okay, we're okay. It was one of those. However, Disney saw this and went, with the technology and the revolution there, instead of partying like it's 1999, we can party like it's 2014. And we took the concept a step further, and they introduced FastPass Plus. So that was part of the My Disney Experience app ecosystem and the online platform. I really liked this. This was an enhanced system to allow guests to pre-select up to 3 attractions before their date of arrival into the parks. It was integrated with the Magic Band system, which, as we know, is a railable device that stores your park ticket data, dining reservations. You're able to make purchase it, and best of all, your FastPass selections. FastPass Plus quickly became a fan favorite, offering unparalleled convenience and planning opportunities. I do also remember that if you were a resort guest, you got 60 days to plan all of your fast passes, and if you were non-resort guest, you had 30 days to plan your fast passes, and you had to do that same once a day, and you had to log in every day if you weren't a resort guest. I really like this. I found that some of the quote good attractions were usually gone, unlike Lightning Lanes now with MultiPass. So I think that with MultiPass now is a better option, but I really did like this. It was also free. It did require significant pre-trip preparation, and people were up. If you were coming from the West Coast, you were up at 4 a.m. doing this, or you had a travel agent do it for you. Some guests really did find the ecosystem overwhelming, but I loved it. I live for things like planning and scheduling and all that stuff. So this was my time. Now, the landscape really did shift dramatically in 2020 due to the pandemic and the closures there, as the parks closed down And then when they reopened with new safety protocols, Disney happened to retire the FastPass system and only did a standby queue, which was fine, with reduced capacity. Then in 2021, Walt Disney World unveiled Genie Plus, and that was in October, end of October. I just remember that as a side note, which was an in-app planning tool designed to optimize guest time in the park. Along with the Disney Genie came Disney Genie Plus and individual Lightning Lane selections, which was the new Lightning Lane at that time, and it wasn't as fun because it was paid for. Originally, it was all $15 per person per park, and then originally the individual attraction selections had 2 per park, and those were priced really high. They did not do well with that. I'm going to come right out there and say it. The a la carte and the 2 of them for the high demand attractions per park didn't do well. It actually was dropped significantly, like within 6 months, down to 1 individual attraction. I believe it was about 6 months. It also was a response to the growing crowds, the leadership at the time, the high demand for personalized experience, shifting from one size fits all model to a more, quote, flexible pay-to-play approach. It wasn't received well, I don't think, because the system further evolved. And in July 2024, the system evolved to introduce Lightning Lane and all that came with it. And they just streamlined the system. Instead of having Genie Plus that you purchase and then you walk through a Lightning Lane, they revamped the system to call it Disney Lightning Lane, both single pass, multi-pass. Now there's Premier Pass, so on and so forth. However, that shift brought it back to the original FastPass Plus. However, again, still that pay-to-play approach. I don't know how well it's been received. I think people have enjoyed it from what I've heard. I enjoy this. I enjoy this much more than Genie Plus because I like that pre-planning tool. Also with Genie Plus, you had to basically, I don't want to say scam the system, but it was like, all right, get on, use it, get on, use it. 1 attraction at a time. Boom, boom, boom. This way you're off your phones a little bit more, as that was a major complaint. The one thing I do also wish is they had kiosks. With FastPass Plus, they had kiosks that you could tap your Magic Band to in the park. Now everything is on the phone to modify, to change. All I'm saying is I do miss that, but... Now, our system has evolved to include Premier Pass, that all-inclusive one-day Lightning Lane experience that can cost you an arm, leg, and your firstborn. Just for 1 single park for all of your day. Now, it's a new iteration. I don't know how well it's doing. I haven't heard of people use it. I've seen videos on it. I've seen blog posts on it, but I haven't seen, and in my defense, it hasn't been out long enough to hear all of the rumblings of yes, no, maybe so. But this latest iteration to FastPass kind of demonstrates the commitment of, okay, we heard what you said. We know that you wanted to be on your phones less, just making it easy to skip the line. But at the same time, it came with that. We like to charge a higher price tag. It's not my favorite personalized approach. I'd rather spend the money on a VIP. If I'm going to pay nearly $500 for Magic Kingdom, I'd rather get a large group and pay for the VIP sort of thing, if that makes sense. However, if you want to do it, more power to you. I think staying off your phone and going in whenever you want is an excellent idea. However, I think the Premier Pass only allowing it once for that price per attraction, that kind of is weird. But overall, I think Lightning Lane, Multipass, and Single Pass are really well done. The system is good, and I think that the attractions, now I don't love the price tag, and I don't like paying for 1 ride if I want to do that, but it does offer flexibility, and I think it is a nice complement if we are going to move for a paid-for model. It's a nice complement. So that is the overall backstory of Lightning Lanes. I hope you learned a little bit, and I'm sorry for my tangents, I'll be honest. Let's get into our actual experience with Lightning Lanes. So by using Lightning Lane wisely, either multi-pass or single pass for any attraction in Walt Disney World that is eligible, you can really avoid long wait time and maximize your time in the Walt Disney World parks. If you're looking for those high-speed thrills or immersive storytelling opportunities that are family-friendly, it is there for you. So taking advantage of those Lightning Lanes on your Walt Disney World vacation can help it be even more magical. Why do I say that? Because I've experienced that. In all honesty, 100% transparency. Every time I go to Walt Disney World, I purchase Lightning Lane Multipass and or Single Pass for at least 1 attraction during my visit to the park on the daily. The skipping the line service is truly a non-negotiable for me and my family and friends who go as part of our experience. I really do value maximizing my time in the parks and minimizing my wait times just because that is me, and I found this service to be a game changer. The convenience of bypassing long standby lines has allowed me to enjoy more attractions and immerse myself in the magic without feeling rushed. I also am somebody who likes to plan, so this allows me to structure my day a bit instead of walking around willy-nilly. Do I stand in standby lines? Yes. But as somebody who has a medical condition that is aggravated by heat, guys, I get really fun weather migraines, and the heat and the humidity sometimes can mess with it, and the whole slew of issues that come, I find Lightning Lane to be even more beneficial. I haven't had many issues securing access to some of the best attractions, something like Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I've actually gotten this twice, like on separate occasions, without any issue, not using the virtual queue, but it does take some practice and strategy. I actually go through, make myself park reservations with my annual pass and practice on the app purchasing stuff, quote unquote, before I actually make my purchase and get to that like payment screen so that I know what I'm doing. Sometimes you can't snag the ride you want, and I apologize for that. But it's not hard to refresh and look throughout the day, and that has become essential in my experience. It's a small price to pay, but the payoff, if you get something you like, is excellent. Of all the Lightning Lane options, I actually find Lightning Lane Single Pass to be the best value. These are usually high demand attractions. So Avatar Flight of Passage, Tron Light Cycle Run, Rise of the Resistance, you get where I'm going with this. And these have the longest standby queues as they are the most popular, making them very cost effective at skipping the lines and well worth it. Additionally, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind over in Epcot uses a virtual queue. If you want to guarantee your time getting on Guardians of the Galaxy and not waiting for a virtual queue because you cannot ride at standby on a normal park day, I highly suggest Lightning Lane for that. And Lightning Lane for Guardians and virtual queue allows you to ride it twice. That is the only way you're going to do it. Again, not doing an extra hours event, so on and so forth. So that is why I find them to be the best option throughout your day. When I'm able to secure guaranteed access to these attractions and experiences, it is truly one of the highlights of my day, and cutting down my wait time from 2 hours, for instance, to like 20 minutes really does help me out and allow me to do other things I want to do. Overall, I have to say I enjoy this service. I like the flexibility and the time-saving benefits. I like being able to modify my times. However, I don't like that I have to pay for it at these higher prices than what originally was a free concept. But we are long gone from that. So I'm just giving you my honest opinion. I truly can't imagine visiting the parks without taking full advantage of Lightning Lanes, and I've gotten so used to it that it has become second nature for me and my family. Yes, I'm the person that plans it, modifies it, changes, does virtual queue for everybody in there. So one complaint I have heard and experienced for Lightning Lanes at Walt Disney World is the amount of time you spend on your phone managing the reservations, refreshing for availability, planning your next move, and seeing if it fits within your dining experiences. Well, yes, this is a drawback for some, but I've noticed that the new Lightning Lane system, especially from Genie Plus, has reduced the time I've spent on my phone. It's not entirely hands-free, but there are moments that I can take away, know the times that I have, especially for those first attractions where I have 3 booked. Yes, I do have to go in once I've used one to book another, but you know what I mean? I'm not on it like go, 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 go. Overall, I've truly found it easier to stay off my phone, easier to navigate, and less intrusive and time invading compared to the previous, especially Genie Plus system. I think it's a balance between the new Lightning Lanes multi-pass and single pass. I'm not talking about Premier Pass. I have not used that yet. And honestly, I don't know if I will. I might. I don't know. But I found it's a better balance of tech, park time, and bang for your buck with Lightning Lane for multi-pass and single pass, opposed to Genie Plus when comparing it to the original beloved Fast Pass Plus. I hope that makes sense. As a note, if you are looking to reduce your time spent on your phone while managing Lightning Lane reservations, there's a third-party service that I have heard talked about here and there. It's called Standby Skipper. It may help. It's a paid service. It is not affiliated in any way with Walt Disney World, but it's designed to help you book Lightning Lanes on your behalf and allowing you to enjoy your time without being on your screens as much. I've never used this. I do not plan to use this. I genuinely think that I like to be in control of my lightning lanes and my own selections. I like that I'm not allowing a third party into my Disney experience by being my friend, because you have to invite them to be your friend, and that's how they can make it, so I've heard. I've read reviews, and I extensively looked this up and heard from quite a few other people that it does streamline the process and makes their vacation a better time and a better experience. I'm just letting you know that this does exist. I don't recommend using it because I've never used it. I'm just letting you know, if this is something you're interested in, please look into Standby Skipper. I've heard that it works. I really have. So if you prefer a more hands-free approach, it is all good and dandy because you invite them as your friend and it's not a breach of the system. I don't think I would use it. It's not for me. I like my own way to create my parks, but I'm letting you know this does exist. Look into it, see what it is, choose at your own risk, and make the decision that is best for you and your family. Overall, my experience with lightning lanes, the current iteration, the December 2024 iteration that I have used a few times, both in July and October when I was there, and November when I was there, I think it's a great addition. I think it is something that is very fun. I like the planning and the modification aspects. I love all of that. And it's something that I think enhances the Walt Disney World experience, and that I do recommend that you use. So if you have made it this far, just heard me babble all this time about the variety of lightning lanes, my experience, the backstory, but I want to give you some pros and cons. So what are these for the lightning lane services at Walt Disney World? Remembering, they're not Disneyland because those are different. So pros of Walt Disney World's lightning lane service. So single pass, multi-pass, and premier pass. It does offer reduced wait time, so that's a pro. Lightning lanes are significantly shorter than time spent in a standby lane, especially for popular attractions. It allows you to maximize your time in the park. It also increases the flexibility, allowing you to choose what ride you want to do, when, how to do it, while bypassing that line, and you can adjust them based on your day, your preferences, park crowds, what you're doing, so on and so forth. Thirdly, lightning lanes are convenient. They add a really great convenience to your day as the system integrates with the My Disney Experience app, your dining reservations, and so on and so forth. So it makes it easy to manage all in one central My Disney Experience place, and it's all done right there. And it's just touch of a button, click, make a new one, click, redeem using your Magic Mobile, Magic Band, so on and so forth at the attraction. So I find it very convenient. I also think that a pro is it provides access to high demand attractions. So for single pass, any attraction that is high demand, you get the ability to skip the high demand wait time. And it is a major benefit, especially during peak time. I cannot recommend it more during peak times. And the fifth pro is that it improves your guest experiences for larger groups. So families and large groups, if you're there with your friends or a school group, so on and so forth, can make the most of skipping lengthy standby queues to ensure everybody gets to experience more attractions with less stress and less wait time. If you're there as just yourself, like a single person, I've always wanted to do just a me trip, but I haven't done that yet. I just kind of want to. But if you ever do like a single day trip with just yourself or maybe two people, you have the opportunity to do, for instance, single rider lines or whatever you want to do. When you have a larger group, so 4, 5, 6, 7, it is harder to get in going. You're going to be waiting in standby lines usually because you're not going to have 6, 7 people stand in a single rider line, for instance, for Rock and Roller Coaster, because you're going to stand around and wait. And I mentioned Rock and Roller Coaster, please do that before it goes away to the Muppets, but I am so excited that it's going to be the Muppets. Everybody online is mad about it. I am so excited that it's going to be the Muppets. But anyways, Lightning Lane will allow you to get your entire group on without any issue. Of course, we just did the pros. We know there are going to be cons. What are they? Well, in my opinion, there are 5. So the first is the obvious. Lightning lanes at Walt Disney World come at an additional cost. It is a paid service, multi-pass, single pass, premier pass. All of it requires extra money per person per day on top of your park admission. I think premier pass is wildly expensive for what you're getting, and I think your funds, if you have a larger group, is better suited to a VIP experience because you get something very similar at a more enhanced rate. And if you have a larger group, VIP can work itself out to be more cost effective at whatever time you're going. Lightning Lane in itself for multi-pass and single pass do cost more. And if you have a group larger than 2, 3, or 4, it's going to cost you a lot. But I think it's worth it for those. However, it's an extra expense on top of your park day, which originally was provided to you within that park ticket. A second con is you are heavily relying on an app, and you have to heavily rely on My Disney Experience, which can sometimes be glitchy, means you're on your phone. If you're having difficulty navigating it, you cannot buy it online. You cannot buy it in person and get all of that. So if you're not comfortable with the app or you don't have it, that's a huge con, especially also being on your phone constantly. Not having, for instance, the availability to refresh if you don't have data and you're on their Wi-Fi, sometimes it can get spotty. So just as a note there. Third is the availability issue. So popular attractions can sell out, and they do sell out quickly. Sometimes they don't show up. Sometimes they're not there when you want them to be there, meaning you're not going to access what you want to and what you have paid for. Now, again, you can see the rides and the times before you have paid for them, which is a benefit, but it is still a con. Fourth of all is it's not available everywhere. So some attractions, like at Epcot and Animal Kingdom, don't actually have lightning lanes. And that includes character meet and greets, which used to be included in Genie Plus, FastPass Plus, all of that. So if you're looking for those, you can't skip the lines for that. And in that, I think that's a big drawback for the new system. And lastly, it does require constant management. The system is designed to be convenient, and I think it is, but it does require you to be on your phone, managing your reservations, modifying them, changing them throughout the day, and seeing how they fit within your day. It can be time consuming. It can pull you away from the magic. It can pull you away from your family. And that is why I have it as a con. Okay. With that, I want to give you some recommendations and key tips here because we've talked a lot about it and I want to make sure you get the most out of your time. I'm a big fan of using lightning lanes at Walt Disney World. I don't think they're essential for Epcot and Animal Kingdom except for single pass, so individual attractions. However, I think that for high demand rides, peak wait times, the cost of Disney lightning lanes, so multi-pass and single pass, is required. I absolutely recommend them at all times for Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom. I don't care when you're going. I think those are essential. However, Animal Kingdom really does not have a lot to use, so you could spend that money for multi-pass on something else. But I do recommend getting it for Flight of Passage. So do you see what I mean there? I hope that makes sense. Lightning Lane allows you to have those options to bypass lines, and I think the best bang for your buck is at Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom, but to each your own. I don't tend to buy it at Animal Kingdom, I'll be honest, I don't. But everywhere else I do. I have bought it at Animal Kingdom because I didn't want to wait in Kilimanjaro Safari, and I went on a very low peak season day, and it was pretty cheap. And there was only 2 of us, so it didn't cost me a ton. But if you have a larger group, you can use those funds somewhere else, for instance. Lightning Lane really does allow you to ensure that you get on the must-do and see attractions. And if it is your first time, I do recommend using it on a first visit. I also recommend them for things that are high attraction waits during peak seasons. I recommend Lightning Lane at Animal Kingdom during peak season like Christmas and New Year's. Oh yeah, because I've seen those lines. Never been there during that time, but I can see those and it would be wild. That's why I don't go during Christmas, because those attraction wait times are nuts. So, for instance, if you're going to Remy's Ratatouille Adventure at Epcot and that's a must-do for somebody in your group, purchase Epcot Multi-Pass so that you guarantee basically you're going to get on that attraction, and then you can do the standby line. And if it goes down, you'll get an experience redemption pass. So you can't guarantee you're going to ride it because technical difficulties happen, but that way you ensure that your must-do is completed. Lines can get very long for that attraction, for instance, so this way it's out of the way. If you only want to do it once, you made the most of it. If you want to come back to a standby later, do it. If not, you see where I'm going with that? Okay. As I said, holiday and peak season, please purchase it. It is a great way to maximize and optimize your time in the park, and it is important to make the most of your time and that park ticket. That add-on expense is top notch. So, key tips and tricks here. I have to say, when you pick booking your multi-passes, prioritize the attractions that have the longest wait historically, especially during high demand and high demand attractions, to get the most out of what you're doing. I also suggest that you take advantage of lightning lanes in general to experience more attractions and shows in one day, especially during peak holidays or larger crowd seasons. Resort guests, I'm talking to you. Get all of the lightning lanes you need to get as early as 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 days before your resort check-in. So if you're not going to a Walt Disney World park for 2 days, 2 whole days after you checked in, you still can book it. I highly suggest you do that so you get a head start on those coveted spots. When you are out using lightning lanes, making it a strategic plan for it is excellent. You can also get, if you're not willing to do it, get a travel agent to do it. They can do it for you as a side note. Never done that, but I've heard it works really, really well. If you're going to be out here making the most of your Walt Disney World vacation and you want to take it to the next level, ensuring that you understand the system and maximize all of the magic without the stress is key. Not waiting in a long line also makes the most of it, because sometimes the lines are outdoors. Like Slinky Dog Dash. You bet I'm getting a lightning lane if I can for that on multi-pass for Hollywood Studios, because I do not want to wait 90 minutes in the heat. I don't. So that's why you do it. You have to really understand the park. Look at walkthroughs. Go on videos. I know I plug, for instance, allears.net, but watch those videos to see what they're doing, what the attraction looks like before you go, and the queue before you go, so you can make the decision that is best for you. Okay. All of that to say is, I hope that this kind of helped make your experience more magical. I really want you to get the most out of your time, and I think it is excellent to prioritize the attractions that mean the most to you to get the return on investment for Lightning Lane, especially during high demand times and peak attractions at the parks. Any ride that has a typically long wait time, I think is worth the Lightning Lane, and if that's a must-do, grab multi-pass or single pass for it. When you're taking advantage of it during peak seasons, it'll allow your day to go a little bit more smoothly so you're not waiting in ridiculously long lines in the different weather elements. And if you use that and the ride gets shut down due to inclement weather, you'll get an experience redemption pass. So you can come back to that attraction if it comes back up, or you can go use it somewhere else. All of this just allows you to maximize your time and enjoy your day filled with magic instead of hours spent in line, especially during things like Christmas, 4th of July, etc., etc. By planning ahead and using Lightning Lane strategically, you really can elevate your experience in the park and maximize your Walt Disney World visit. So that is what I want to let you know. Just maximize. Know what you need to do. Be strategic with your timing and plan. Practice ahead of time. All of this to say is you can make Lightning Lanes your friend. Yes, they come at a cost. Yes, they are expensive. Yes, it does require planning and time spent. But this will allow you to get on what you need, when you need, and how you need it, hopefully, and fit it into your day. You've heard me talk about my experience. You've heard me give a backstory. You've heard what it costs. Now, what do we here at Happily Adventures After rate Lightning Lanes at Walt Disney World? Well, I give it a solid 4 out of 5. 5 being the best, 0 being the worst. Why do I give it a solid rating of 4 out of 5, or basically 80%? Well, I have a few notes. So on the positive side, the ability to skip the lines and experience more that you want to at Walt Disney World at a specific time, for me, is a game changer. I really do value low wait time, so using Lightning Lane allows myself and my party to do that and get a lot more attractions or what we want to do in. It also allows me to maximize what I want to do and how I want to spend my time in the park. I think the overall system is really well organized, and I love the ability to purchase and book rides in advance, as well as see what I want to purchase before I make that purchase in the app. I also really like that Walt Disney World replenishes available time slots throughout the day and specifically, basically, quote, dumps Lightning Lanes for non-resort guests on their days that they can book them per park, as well as giving them to resort guests who get early access to them. That's something that the old FastPass Plus system didn't do well, and so I think they do that excellently now. I also like that the best lightning lanes can come back up during the day. Again, talking about that replenishment, so you never feel like you're missing out. Now, I think lightning lanes make a huge difference in your day. As well, it makes it convenient and smoother and makes you enjoy your park time. But that comes at a cost. Particularly, I'm going to exclude Premier Pass because that's a whole different beast. But the cost of lightning lanes, especially if you're doing single and multi-pass, if you're like a family of 4 or something, it can quickly add up, especially during those peak times as it's supply and demand, like airlines, for instance. It's a huge sticker shock when you're purchasing basically $50 per person per day for 4 park days if you're going to do both lightning lanes, single pass and multi-pass. And that's on average. So for a family of 4, that's an additional $200 plus tax per day US. And if you're doing all 4 parks, that's an additional $800 plus tax. So doing so, and that's US for anybody who's listening, USD. And doing that, it's up there. It really is up there. I do find, however, it more effective for cost strategy and affordable than similar skip the line services at Universal or Orlando. So I went to Universal Orlando in April of 2024, and we paid, I think, for a one-time use. So for their standard Universal Studios Orlando and Islands of Adventure park to park one-time use express pass, I think we paid upward of $130 with tax US per person. It was nearly as much as the park ticket. And so Disney is playing a good price strategy there, but they have more parks, so you choose what is best for you in that essence. I also think it is more cost effective at Walt Disney World if you've been to Canada's Wonderland, and it's in Vaughan, but everybody knows it in Toronto, or Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. I find that lightning lanes work way better and they're more cost effective. Again, they can get upward of $100. Now, if you're at Canada's Wonderland, it's Canadian per day, but $100 per person and you get to ride it once. So Disney isn't pricing themselves out of those skip the line services by keeping, if you're doing single pass, multi-pass kind of thing, at $50 per person US plus tax. Because like I said, I've been to Canada's Wonderland and I regretted it, the skip the line service. But they have different tiers. The cheapest one was $80 and it excluded various rides. You want the best one? You're paying upward of $200 Canadian at the date I went. Now I went on Labor Day. Granted, that's the last day of our basically summer here before everybody goes back to school. But needless to say, they're not off on their costs, but it did take over something that was free before. Well, complimentary included in there. So that's where kind of it gets knocked down. It also gets knocked down when you are being on your phone constantly. Now, we are, as a society in North America, on our phones a lot. We really are. So I think the new system does a better job and not being on your phone as much. And I also like, as a side note, I didn't even mention this, and I apologize. But as a side note, MultiPass comes with your ride photos now, which I think, and that was as of, I think, July. I think that's an excellent thing. So if you are purchasing that, you get all of your ride photos, not PhotoPass. You get your ride or attraction photos. And that, again, kind of couches the cost and making it not as bad. But overall, I do recommend Lightning Lane. I think it's a great way to skip the line and maximize your time in the park, but it's important to consider the cost before purchasing. And that is why I give it a 4 out of 5 rating overall. Okay, so you heard about all of our experience for lightning lanes in this Hey Disney, give me a review, lightning lanes at Walt Disney World. But we want to hear from you. What are your favorite lightning lanes at Walt Disney World? Do you get multi-pass and single pass every time you come? Are there specific parks you only purchase it? Have you done Premier Pass? And if you have, what did you think? How much did you spend? Was it worth it? We want to know from you. We want to hear your tips, your tricks, your strategies, and personal experiences for this line skipping option at Walt Disney World. Your stories, your pictures, everything. Any insight you share with us adds to our Walt Disney World community, especially for us Disney adults who love to talk about it. And we can't wait to hear how you navigated the lightning lanes during your Disney adventures and what's your review and rating on them. So stay tuned for more tips, tricks, updates, behind the scenes looks, and review at either Happily Adventures Afters, Hey Disney and give me a review like this, or Hey Disney Top 10. Be sure to check out our website, which is happilyadventuresafter.com. Follow us on Instagram at happilyadventuresafter and subscribe to us here on our YouTube podcast. So for any Hey Disney option you may think of, we really hope that you have a wonderful and blessed, amazing day. I'm London. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you just enjoy Lightning Lanes, and I can't wait to hear your experience. I'll talk to you later. Bye.